Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your routine Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, and in addition, some severe storm coverage for tomorrow's weather event. All right, so kind of jumping right into uh, let's show this first because we got a tremendous amount of rain on Tuesday, and that really helped the drought situation here. So the drought status has been pulled back quite a bit, except in the southwest part of the state, where it's still sort of a drought. It wasn't quite as much rainfall in the very southwest corner of the state, not enough to really wipe it out, but it's so nice and refreshing to see, 4/5 of the state not having any drought situation, not even abnormally dry. So clearly the strong El Nino influenced winter thus far has done a great deal of improvement and help as it relates to the drought conditions that we experienced going into this winter. So anyway, very beneficial rains. Unfortunately, as the old saying goes, sometimes it takes a flood to end the drought, and that's what we had on Tuesday, was many flood situations. So anyway, all right. So what about later today? High pressure's in control of our weather. Strong low pressure system will give us perhaps another instance of severe storms, maybe some isolated flooding to Central North Carolina Friday afternoon and evening. This is going to be much quick hitter system, so that'll limit the rainfall by quite a bit. And there'll likely be a limited window for severe storms on Friday evening. So, folks, this is a much different scenario than we had Tuesday, okay? Much different. So anyway, so there you see the pattern, how it evolves Friday morning. It's coming in a little later in the day too. So really, we're not going to get into the more interesting weather until Friday evening. And then when it does get here, it's going to be very quick hitting. So again, many ways different than Tuesday. Let's not go into tomorrow saying it's going to be a repeat of Tuesday. It's not. It will be impactful, but not an exact repeat of Tuesday. So let's just get that out of the way. And then once we get Friday's weather system out of the way, then Saturday looks dry, cooler, because we have a pretty decent northwest flow behind it, as is will be the case Sunday, a little cooler. And then Monday, we've got a system coming in from the northwest and a little jet stream disturbance to the south that will ride up along the southeast coast on Tuesday. So, there's going to be some colder air around, but right now it looks like, the low is going to be one that's not going to produce a whole lot of rain, and it looks like it'll just be, warm enough rather for a rain event for us on Tuesday. Obviously we'll be, keeping an eye on that, given the fact that we do have some cold air pouring in here over the weekend. Obviously we're going to be focusing after we get past tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on Tuesday just to make sure there's no precip type issues to deal with. But right now, as we head into it, it looks like mainly a rain event, liquid. So anyway, once we get that system out of the way, then we get a cold high pressure building in behind that on Wednesday. Dry high pressure usually gives us nice weather. So anyway, much cooler and dry again mid to late week. All right, so how about precipitation amounts? And one thing you're gonna notice, again, comparing tomorrow to this past Tuesday, are these maps, these precip maps. Look how much lesser the values are for Friday's precip, okay? And we're talking only, the light shade of green you see there on Friday across eastern North Carolina, that is 1/10 to 1/4 inch of rain. I mean, that's substantially less than what we had on Tuesday. And the dark green is 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain. So for us, this is going to be mainly 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain event for us. So if you're along or east of I-95, it might even be lighter than that until you get to the coast. It looks like the parts of the state that are going to get a little bit, closer to an inch, maybe 1.25 inches, might be over the mountains, and that's probably not a bad idea because we saw in the drought graphic that that's part of the state that still needs a little bit more rain. Okay, so Saturday and Sunday behind that system are dry. Monday, the light green you see there comes in very late in the day, maybe at night. And then the Tuesday rain, look at that. That's pretty light. There's just not much there. That low is way offshore, but it's far enough offshore that it keeps the heavy precip to our east. And that's another reason I'm not terribly concerned about Tuesday. And I apologize, the graphic there doesn't have the word Tuesday on it. So there you have it. We can take care of that right now. Send to back. Now it has Tuesday on it. Gotta love the live updating there. So anyway, that's Tuesday. When you add up 7 days worth of precip, we're looking at anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch and a half. But again, that inch and a half is going to be, displaced to our west. Okay. So anyway, inch and a half values are going to be more over the mountainous and foothills part, maybe far western Piedmont part of the state. All right. So what about the severe thunderstorm potential? Well, the orange for tomorrow, the SPC's day 2 outlook showing enhanced. Remember, we had an enhanced on Tuesday. So, immediately folks saw the orange and the enhanced and thought, oh my gosh, another enhanced. Enhanced is pretty rare. I mean, enhanced is rare anyway for January. So when you have it twice in 1 week, that's pretty unusual. Now, obviously the enhanced was warranted on Tuesday, no doubt about that. I suspect in about an hour or maybe an hour and a half from now, when the Storm Prediction Center releases their next day 2 outlook, I'll bet you that orange is gone and it's just yellow. Okay, so keep an eye on that and just know that it's not going to be as bad as Tuesday. Yeah, there's going to be impacts. There's probably going to be a few trees down, some power outages, maybe some very localized flash flooding, but not on the magnitude that we had on Tuesday. All right, once we get past Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, all in good shape as it relates to severe weather potential. Okay, so what about excessive rain? Well, the rainfall amounts are a lot less forecast for tomorrow than we had on Tuesday, so therefore the excessive rainfall outlook is obviously a category lower. It's just marginal, meaning isolated flash floods possible. Again, mainly west of I-95. Okay. All right. As we look further down the road, remember I showed you in the weather pattern slide at the beginning of this presentation. It looked like I mentioned it was going to turn cooler later next week, and indeed, that's what the 8 to 14 day outlook shows. But if you were hoping, hey, we got cold air, where's the moisture? Odds do tilt towards a drier period of weather. So maybe cold but dry is what this graphic suggests for the 18th to the 24th of January. And yeah, I like winter weather just as much as anybody else, but we may not be able to get it during this time. It might just be not enough moisture and too dry, but it'll be cold. So anyway, so that's the 8 to 14 day outlook. Cold and mainly dry. All right, the experimental graphical hazardous weather outlook. This is our tool that you can take a glance at it and see which days of the next 7 are going to be the worst. And clearly tomorrow night is the main day for any type of hazardous weather. All right, now speaking of that hazardous weather, I do have some simulations to show for timing tomorrow. And the initial light showers, the initial subsevere rain activity doesn't arrive until 1 p.m. So clearly right off the bat, you can see that this is a much later start. You know what? Let me switch to a web page that will do a better job in showing this. So anyway, let's roll with this here, and let me make it a little bigger so it's easier for folks to see. I made it too big. Bear with me here for just a second here. Let's try that. All right, because I need to be able to hit the buttons to go forward. All right, so here's today. And then you can see the time changing at the top. There's 3 a.m. Friday, nothing. 9 a.m. Friday, nothing. 12 p.m. Remember 12 p.m. on Tuesday? Things were already rocking and rolling. Today or tomorrow, not so much. So you can get most of the daytime stuff in tomorrow before the what I would say risky weather rolls in. Okay, so 2 p.m. we're still kind of really not into the meat of the event. 3 p.m. now we get the sort of the heavier showers, and I think that's what we're seeing here. That's what's represented on this graphic. See these enhanced colors, yellows? That doesn't necessarily mean severe storms. That just means the heavier downpours that are moving into our area ahead of the warm air that comes up from the south. Remember, we need that warm air to build storms. So that will sort of be the leading edge of shower activity. Could be, potentially decent downpours at times. I don't think that the severe threat at this point in time with this initial batch of activity on Friday will be the main game. We're going to have to wait until the trailing squall line, if you will, which is highlighted by this line. Remember the worst of the worst wind was with the last line that blew through and produced, I think we even had a wind gust of 69 miles per hour this past Tuesday at RDU, and there were gusts in the 70s at the coast. I mean, it was a windy day. But you could see those storms, this last line is sort of the line that I'm most concerned about, doesn't really roll across central North Carolina until evening hours, well after daytime activities are concluded. So anyway, there's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m. So clearly you could see that that this is, number one, a later event. And remember on Tuesday, we saw multiple lines that looked like multiple lines that developed that look like this. It looks like with this event, maybe there'll just be one consolidated line that moves through with the front or prefrontal and gives us our severe weather threat. So let me back up one more time and let's roll through this again. 1 p.m. Friday. So before 1 p.m. Friday, we're pretty much dry. And then there's 2 p.m. still mostly dry. 3 p.m. Rain's starting to get into the Charlotte metro area. Our southwest counties, Anson, Stanley, Richmond County there up toward Montgomery County and up to Davidson County. In that initial batch, we think is just going to be some heavy shower activity as the warm air starts to move in. Friday at 4 p.m., we're just talking scattered showers. Yeah, could one of these scattered showers have a wind gust with it? Sure. Maybe a 30, 35 mile per hour wind gust is possible with these showers. It is going to be windy, breezy. At this point in time, I don't think it's wind advisory criteria. Remember how windy it was on Tuesday, even outside of the thunderstorm activity? You know how, everybody's like, thinking, well, is the storm going to give us the wind? Well, yeah, the storms gave us the wind, but it was windy outside of the storms. I mean, there were trees falling even well before and even well after the storms. It just was plain windy on Friday. That is not going to be nearly as bad. So again, on Friday with these early showers, yeah, it could be a little breezy, but not like it was, strong winds with these initial batch. And then we're going to be keeping an eye on that final squall line, which moves through during the evening hours. So there's 7 p.m. Getting into the triad, 8 p.m. Moving through the triad, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. approaching the triangle region, and you can see how it evolves from there. Okay, so a lot of differences between what we're going to see tomorrow versus what we had on Tuesday. All right. So let's wrap it up here. Strong low pressure system will result in potential for hazardous weather, severe storms, isolated flooding tomorrow afternoon and evening. I think the worst of the storm activity will be more the evening hours, as I just showed. It'll be quick hitting. It'll limit rainfall amounts. There'll be a limited window for severe thunderstorms Friday evening. Let me highlight the word Friday evening. Limited window for severe storms. Dry weather then expected through the weekend, and then we're watching a weather system for Monday night into Tuesday. Right now, that looks like a rain event, light rain event at that, not heavy, but does look rain. And then much cooler and dry mid to late week. Okay, and obviously we're gonna obviously keep updating the Tuesday event. Just it's cold coming in on the weekend, so anytime we get cold ahead of a weather maker, we want to make sure there's no opportunity for mixed P types. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and get you up to date as we head through the weekend if there's any risk for that to happen. But right now, as it stands now, it looks like a mainly rain event on Tuesday. All right. So anyway, there's your 7-day glance there, and that wraps up the this briefing for Thursday. Again, I thank you for hanging out and for the later start. Again, the briefing schedule. Obviously, we're going to update the slides and send out PowerPoint briefings. I'll be sending these slides out here very shortly and posting them to the web. I will be sending out updates to the slides, through tonight and through today, tomorrow. I don't have any webinars scheduled for tomorrow, but if that changes, we will email you and you will know by email. I don't have any scheduled right now. So, that right there tells you how it's a much more limited severe threat tomorrow compared to Tuesday. But if the need arises and it looks like things become a little bit more risky or dangerous, then clearly, yeah, we'll spin up webinars and maybe do more frequent ones. But right now, I don't have any scheduled. Okay, doesn't mean I might not at the last minute, but just keep an eye on your email and you'll get notification if we're going to do those. All right, so with that, I'm going to stop the recording here. And okay, let's get to the questions here. Chris asks, do you have a radar simulation? I think I just showed that. I think, Chris, you posted that before I showed it. So, okay, Gary says, I've already got the school system calling.